and businesses depend on the power of real-time data. You and I generate a lot of data that companies can use it and extract insights out of it. But the majority of data collected is never used because the value of data decays over time. Since data is the lifeline of every business across industries, developers are reimagining how quickly they can process, analyze, and make predictions and take actions on the data they generate. That's where Redis Labs comes in. To understand what makes Redis Labs the world's most popular in-memory database and commercial provider of their Redis enterprise, I'm in conversation with Mike Anand from Redis Labs to know more about their company. Hi, Mike. Welcome to their podcast.
Hi, for having me.
So let's start the podcast on a great note with you explaining us a brief introduction of the company and the specialization and services it offers.
Yeah, thank you. As you mentioned, Redis Labs is basically the company behind open source Redis. We are fortunate to have a great presence in our community where we are the most loved database for 4 years in a row and most liked database inside AWS. But we as a company, Redis Lab, is rooted in basically two great shifts in the computing web era. One is open source and second is cloud, both of which have accelerated and helped us grow over the past decade. In Redis itself, we differentiate ourselves in the database market because we're able to offer customers performance that is unparalleled to anything else that is out there. So Redis is known for its speed, where we offer sub-millisecond response times that are required for customers to build their modern applications, and then being able to have the flexibility and ease to deploy those applications across the geos to serve their customers.
So in this process, what is your proactive role and how have you contributed to the company and the industry?
My personal role, I lead marketing over here at Redis. I personally, joined here about 18 months. I'm an old product guy turned product marketer turned a full stack marketer. And the number one thing that I am focused on today is essentially helping developers get to know Redis and tell our story that goes beyond cache. So Redis is very well known in the market for our speed, like I said, and as well as for our caching solution. But we have a host number of other products that allow customers to use the modern data models such as JSON, time series, graph, and others. So the big focus for us is to make sure that we continue to serve our customers across the globe, but also tell our story in a way that help developers build their applications using Redis, and then help DevOps folks essentially the flexibility to have the choice to deploy and run their applications anywhere across the clouds, including multi-cloud.
One of the products that Redis offers is the Redis Enterprise Cloud, and it is available on AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. So to make that available on such a global platform, how did the company innovate, and what are the partnerships that drive innovation?
So, we are investing in our cloud solutions with all three big cloud hyperscalers to not only bring enterprise-grade Redis capabilities to their cloud, but also in offering the ability to provide you better cloud migration capabilities to deploy in any architecture, including hybrid and multi-cloud. So our focus remains to where we want to make Redis be available for our users and our customers, right? Regardless of the geography, regardless of the cloud. Our main focus is what we call what we basically. Our tagline is that any real-time data at any scale in any cloud is what our mantra is. And from that perspective, we feel very fortunate to have the partnership with AWS, where we are available in their marketplace, so customers can use their existing commits to use Redis Enterprise. First-party integrations with Google, where we are available directly from their console, as well as an integration service built on top of Azure Cache as an enterprise tier. So, again, the goal is to give customers a choice and a path based on the use cases and based on the time when, there is a need for them to go beyond open source or managed service offerings that the cloud providers provide.
The use of artificial intelligence and machine learning is growing rapidly to keep up with the changes in the digital landscape. Like almost 88% of decision makers expect AI and ML use cases to increase in the next 1 to 2 years. What is your opinion on that, and how are disruptive technologies in general impacting today's innovation in the industry and in Redis Labs?
Yeah, look, companies are looking to expand their AI and ML footprints, right? And a lot of times, as you mentioned, right, like the folks that are using these technologies are really interested in understanding how they can actually, how their AI ML projects can be successful. And one of the big things that we find when we talk to customers, that the key decision makers always, almost 48% of them talk about reliability, and about 44% talk about performance as the top challenges for having their AI and ML models be successful out in the market, right? So the big question that is in front of the folks is that if you want to really get the benefits and the promise of AI and ML, then essentially what they need, what our belief is, and what we're disrupting, and what we're basically offering is an ability for them to leverage Redis in-memory database as a platform of choice to help remove some of the key hurdles that they have. And for us, essentially, we want to be able to offer customers, an ability to go out and perform use cases where you need to respond in sub-millisecond latencies. Think about, detecting fraud. Think about, being able to look up inventory in real time. Think about being able to, call for ride-sharing apps and make decisions that your businesses depends on in real time. So, our goal is, again, to help companies embrace AI ML to deliver value for their mission-critical applications, to help them modernize their infrastructure and support their needs in the real time, and in a way that allows them to continuously train their models and get the value out of their investments.
To meet all these demands, which solution offered by Redis Labs stands out the most?
Yeah, so look, I think as the use of machine learning and algorithms continue to grow, right, I think what we are going to continue to see people do is a few different things. One is, personally believe that caching is a solution. You're going to start to see shifts in it from where it is, going to go from where developers today use it from speeding up their applications to where they actually think that for their applications to be successful, they actually need an in-memory database where they can actually power the response time for their applications in the age of real time. So I believe that's one core big thing. And then the other thing is that, as companies and brands migrate from their legacy to modern applications, right, they are really looking to deliver applications and looking for a partner with them, right, that offers a real-time data platform. And like I mentioned, across clouds, where not only you can run different applications in different clouds, but perhaps even run same application across the same cloud, where you can offer a user sitting in India versus a user sitting in some other part of the world across continents, local latency in a geo-distribution way, where you can actually have a real-time data platform that allows them to serve customers, and offer a differentiated experience, because at the end of the day, it all comes down to customer experience. So our innovation, our growth, our ability to being able to offer those choices to the customers is where we differentiate and where we believe we offer the best-in-class capabilities.
What all industries does Redis Lab operate in? Like you're talking about, offering the best customer experiences and the right tools for them to leverage their business. So what industry verticals do these clients work in?
Yeah, good question. So, COVID and, digital transformation really accelerated during the last 18 months. So the honest truth is that we're seeing actually need for real-time data across industries. We have a lot of customers, over 8,000 plus customers across industries, but a lot of traction in financial services, retail, gaming, healthcare, telcos, where lots of use cases are built around where not only people are thinking about modernizing their brownfield applications, but they're also thinking about building directly greenfield applications where they're directly going to cloud. So the reality is that for us, wherever there is a need for real-time data, there is actually a need for a solution like what Redis offers.
So Mike, what is your point of view on the current scenario of the data and AI industry, and what do you think its future is?
Yeah, so I think, look, we are still in a very early phase, in my opinion, of from AI ML perspective. I think there's a lot of, rightfully so, there's a lot of excitement and buzz. I think that there's a lot of companies are jumping in, but I believe they're early in their life cycle to where a lot of these tend to be more on the innovation type of projects. Companies have fully yet, they're not there yet where they're embracing these technologies in a full way where these are embedded into their production applications. Though increasingly we see that happening more and more, but that is still yet not mainstream. So I believe that we are in early phase of innovators and adopters. We haven't seen early majority adopt these, but I think the future is bright. And like I said earlier, I think to achieve the benefits and the promise of AI and ML, I really believe that companies and decision makers are going to have to, and architects, going to have to solve the key pain points, right? Which is that how do you get access to your data and you are able to crunch that data in real time to get the promise of AI. And by the way, every time you have to go back and train your models over and over again to fine tune because you got new data set that put in, you're gonna see a significant impact in the return and also in the performance. So I think it goes back to the success isn't early. I think there's a lot of innovation still to be happened, and I think there's a lot of shaking still to be happened in terms of both the providers and the use cases that eventually we're going to be able to solve using AI and ML technologies.
And finally, Mike, where do you see the future of Redis Labs heading towards?
So I think for us, we are today more than ever. If you really look at the world around us, if I take an outside-in view to the problems that our customers face, we are really living in the world of real time, right? I think this notion for a very long period of time, people have been trying to solve a problem that exists because there have been, all the time cases of data silos. But I think where the future for Redis Labs is that we believe that data silo problem is, one that is here to stay because you have more and more data out there. The data is distributed. Your customers are global. So I think, the demand for technology and real-time data platform that Redis offers is critical, for our customers to be able to get the insights that they need to provide the customers the experience that their customers are looking for. So I really feel like that the market and the business conditions are ripe to where a tool like Redis Labs that are able to offer some millisecond performance, at any scale, is going to be the critical difference maker out there. And ultimately, being able to, when I say seamless at scale, I really mean like, terabyte growth as customers' data growth. Can you offer that performance at a huge scale? Can you do that globally in an always available way where you can offer 5 nines to customers? Can you be able to deploy that service anywhere because your customers are everywhere? And can you do that in a way that offers customers the best expertise in terms of how to go about foster innovations and building applications to have a better time to market for their products and services. So I think for us in Redis, that's our differentiation. That's we offer. So I think that's where we headed, and that's where I think our value comes out for our customers.
Companies are embracing AI ML to deliver more value to their applications that are specific to a task or a mission. Companies developing more models based on real-time data and making insightful and data-backed decisions. And how the solutions offered by Redis Labs are helping them create more efficient and accurate models for their business objectives. And the way Redis Labs is dedicated to serve customers in a better way, transform products, and optimize operations. These are all the insights I'm sure our listeners have taken from this podcast. And thank you so much, Mike, for making time for this podcast